They say the sea never gives up her dead, but sometimes she keeps their ghosts. It was December 5th, 1872. A merchant ship named the Dei Gratia was cutting through the icy Atlantic waves just off the coast of Portugal. Her crew spotted something on the horizon, a ship drifting aimlessly, sails half torn, tilting slightly, but still afloat. When they approached, they realized the name painted on the hull read, Mary Celeste. A month earlier, she had departed from New York with Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and a crew of 7. 10 people in total. Now, not one remained. The boarding crew from the Dei Gratia climbed onto the ghostly deck. The sails flapped weakly in the wind, the ropes hung loose, and the wheel turned slowly, as if still guided by invisible hands. The captain's cabin, untouched. Clothes neatly folded. The family Bible open on the table. The logbook, the last entry dated 10 days earlier, recorded nothing unusual, nothing wrong. Food was still on the stove. A half-eaten meal was left behind, as if the crew had vanished mid-bite. But the lifeboat was gone, and so were the ship's chronometer and sextant, the essential tools for navigation. Everything else, the cargo, the barrels of industrial alcohol, the personal belongings, was untouched. There was no blood, no struggle, no sign of panic, just absence. The ship that should have been bustling with life was eerily still, except for the faint groan of timbers, as if the hull itself remembered what had happened. Some sailors said when they stepped below deck, they heard footsteps above them, even though no one was there. Others swore the air was cold, unnaturally cold, as if something unseen still lingered. When the Dei Gratia towed the Mary Celeste to Gibraltar for investigation, stories began to spread. Dark, unsettling stories. Was it mutiny? Had the crew murdered the captain and fled in the lifeboat? Or was it pirates, ghosts in human form, killing and vanishing without a trace? But then, why was the cargo untouched? Why leave everything of value behind? Then came the rumors that the barrels of alcohol leaked, releasing toxic fumes. The crew panicked, thinking the ship was about to explode, and abandoned her in haste. But if that's true, why didn't they return when the danger passed? Why was there no trace of their lifeboat ever? As the ship was examined, more questions surfaced. A few barrels were indeed empty, but not enough to cause mass panic. The hull was undamaged. The compass glass was broken, yes, but by then the mystery had already grown beyond reason. Some said the crew was taken by the sea. Others whispered of something darker, a curse. According to sailors who had crossed paths with Captain Briggs, the Mary Celeste had a reputation. Her previous captains had met with tragedy, storms, deaths, madness. Some even claimed the ship was cursed from the moment she was built, that her first owner died mysteriously before she ever set sail. And when the ship was returned to service, it was said that at night, on calm seas, other captains heard a woman singing from her deck. A lullaby. Soft, sad. The voice of Captain Briggs's wife, perhaps? Or something else entirely, echoing from the abyss. When you stare into the dark waves long enough, you start to see faces. And the Mary Celeste seemed to stare back. The ship was eventually sold and changed hands several times, but every captain who took command met a grim fate. Accidents, madness, disappearances. No one ever made a profit from her, as if the ship rejected anyone who tried to own her. She belonged to the sea. By the time the investigation concluded, no official cause was found. Not murder, not mutiny, not pirates. Just emptiness, and the lingering scent of salt and fear. The ocean had taken them, but not their story. Some say if you sail near the Azores on a moonless night, you can still see her adrift, white sails glowing faintly in the dark. And if you listen close, you'll hear voices whispering your name from the waves. But that was only the beginning, because years later, something even stranger happened. Years later, something even stranger happened. After the Mary Celeste was released from investigation, she returned to service. A ship reborn, or so they thought. But every new captain who took her helm carried the same fate: disaster. One ran aground in the Caribbean, another went mad mid-voyage, ranting about voices below deck. Crew members claimed the ship spoke, The wood creaked in patterns, like whispers through the hull. And when they slept, they heard a child crying from the captain's quarters, but there were no children aboard. The last owner, Captain Gilman Parker, tried to rid himself of the curse. In 1885, he deliberately sailed Mary Celeste toward Haiti and wrecked her on a reef. He hoped to sink her forever and collect insurance. But fate doesn't like to be cheated. Parker survived, for a while. A few months later, he died mysteriously, sick, delirious, screaming of a woman in white walking through his dreams. Witnesses said before he died, he kept repeating one phrase: "She's still out there. She wants them back." And that's where the Mary Celeste should have ended, shattered on the reef, devoured by the ocean. But sailors swore she didn't stay sunk. They claimed they'd seen her again years later, drifting under full sail, ghostly white in the moonlight, no crew on deck. No sound but the waves, and faint singing like a lullaby lost to the sea. In 1892, a British ship near the same waters reported a strange encounter. Their lookout saw a ship matching the Mary Celeste's description gliding silently toward them through a fog bank. No lights, no sound. As they approached, she vanished into thin air. No wreckage, no trace, just the smell of burning alcohol in the air. Historians tried to explain it logically. Maybe the stories were exaggerations, they said. Maybe sailors, driven half-mad by isolation and fear, imagined things. But those who've been at sea long enough will tell you, there are ships that never stop sailing. Crewless, endless. Ghosts trapped between tides and time. The Mary Celeste became one of those stories, the Phantom of the Atlantic. Every decade, new rumors surfaced. Fishermen found driftwood bearing her markings. Strange logbooks written in faded ink washed ashore. One even described seeing a woman and child standing on deck, waving, then fading into mist. And perhaps the most terrifying rumor came from a sailor in 1920. He claimed he found a bottle floating off the Azores. Inside was a note. The handwriting matched Captain Briggs. It read, "Still sailing, still waiting, God forgive us." But that's not all. In the 1970s, an oceanographic team scanning the seabed near Haiti detected what they believed was the Mary Celeste's wreck. They sent divers. The hull was broken, yes, but inside they found something impossible. Wood, dry as bone, rope still intact, no marine growth, as if the ship had never been underwater. One diver reportedly left the site screaming, refusing to ever return to the ocean again. He told a colleague later that he saw a woman and a small child standing inside the wreck, looking straight at him. Was it exhaustion, decompression sickness, or something else entirely? Whatever the truth, his body was found weeks later, drowned in his own bathtub. No sign of struggle, only salt water in his lungs. The Mary Celeste has become more than a mystery. She's a warning of what happens when the sea chooses to keep her secrets, and maybe of what happens when you disturb them. Every ocean has its ghost stories, but only one ship has never stopped sailing, across time, across memory, across fear. A ship where the dinner table is still set, where the logbook ends mid-sentence, and where, on certain nights, you can still see a candle burning inside the captain's cabin, flickering in the dark. So, if you ever find yourself out there, alone with only the moon and the waves, and you see a silhouette drifting on the horizon, don't approach, because the Mary Celeste doesn't need a crew anymore. She's already found one. Do you want to watch the full video? Visit my channel, Tales of the Dark.